Hi Scrappy friends, and welcome to another video in our 12 Days of Christmas series where we are walking through the Creative Memories 110 Scrapbooking Ideas and Sketchbook. Our goal in this series is to have 12 videos all having a 2-page Christmas layout. So for today, we are going to go over to page 20 and we are going to do this sketch right here. I'll go ahead and put it up on the screen so you can see it closer as we go over it. Okay, so if you look at the sketch, you'll see at the top and the bottom, it has a strip of paper. And in the inspiration layout, they use a striped paper to make that really obvious. So those two pieces of paper are the same. Then at the bottom only, they put a wavy type border down at the bottom of the layout. And then they got 3 photos, 2 4x4s, and then 1 horizontal. A big journaling spot or a mat card can go there. And then at the top, an additional journaling area. Okay, so that doesn't look too hard. Let's come on back to my desk and I'll show you which papers I picked out. Okay, so we're going to be using the shades of seasonal sightings. Now, I've explained before, I've have all the different paper packs in this collection, and I've kind of mixed them all up. So at this point, if you need to know specific which paper pack it's in, let me know in the comments and I'll be more than happy to let you know which paper pack I'm using. For today, I'm going to use this beautiful red stripe, and then I'm also going to be using this brown, and then I'll be using this poinsettia paper, but I'll be using it for the green polka dots on this side. And then I did bring in some of the white shimmer paper. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. We'll work on the left-hand side page first, and then after that, once we have a good start on this, I will bring in what I need to create the corresponding second page. So the red stripe paper will be our background piece, and then we'll bring in a little bit of the green polka dot paper for the small strip at the top. And then at the bottom, I forgot to mention that I am also pulling in of dark green cardstock, and I'm going to do something a little different for my bottom section. I'm not going to repeat the patterns like they did in the inspiration layout. Okay, so I will need a 1/2 inch strip of the green polka dot. That's going to go on the top, and then for the bottom, I'm going to bring in my border making system, and I'm bringing in the Starry cartridge. And my plan is to punch out of the border of Starry and put it right down here at the bottom. There we go. And the fallout from this punch is super cute, so I'm probably going to save some of that and see if we can maybe incorporate some of that later on. The Starry is what we call an edge punch, so we need to trim it off the top. I'm going to do a 1-inch cut. So making sure that the most outer part of the punch is all aligned at the 1-inch mark. And I'm going to put it down here. Now I really want those stars to pop out. So that's where I'm going to bring in some of the shimmer white paper, and I'm going to trim 1 inch. Then what I'll do is I'll adhere this border I punched out with Starry right onto the white shimmer cardstock, and it's going to go right down here at the bottom. Then what else I'm going to do down here, I am going to be scrapping some tree trimming photos today. So I'm going to bring in this border from the laser cut border pack, and again, these are 2-sided. This one, the trees are a little more solid. You can see the little reindeer popping out, and the little cardinals are in there as well. This side is a little bit more, maybe you would say, has like a snowy effect and maybe a little bit more washed out. So you really have to decide what side you want. I think I'm going to go with the little bit more obvious side where you can really see those trees. And then I'm going to put that down here. And okay, and that's going to be my border to represent the border that's in the sketch. Okay, let me bring in the photos that I'm going to use for my layout. Now, in the inspiration sketch, they have a horizontal photo running at the top, and I didn't have a horizontal photo, so I'm going to replace that with a vertical photo that I cut down into a 4x4. And then I'm going to have another 4x4 right underneath it, just like they have in the sketch. So really, it's the same amount of space taken up. It's just my picture is not going another 2 inches that direction. Then I'm going to bring in a third 4x4 photo, similar to what they have, and I'll put it right there. And I'm going to bring in a mat from the mat pack. Instead of having a journaling box, I don't need that much journaling on the sketch. There's 2 spots for journaling, which is great if you have a lot to say. I decided to use this mat card because I loved the quote that it has on it. And it says, "The best of all the gifts around any Christmas tree, the presence of a happy family all wrapped up in each other." And I thought, oh, that is just so sweet for decorating the tree. So I thought that was perfect, and that kind of replaces my journaling for this layout. Okay, and now that I'm looking at this, I think I want to move this one up here so I can kind of tuck it under like they did in the sketch, and then move this one down here. Now I'm not going to mat any of my photos today. I've decided that this nice dark rich paper that I have behind it really helps my photos to pop, so I don't think I need to mat any of them over there. But okay, so we'll just keep moving this around a little bit until I make a final decision here. And that's pretty much going to be my layout for this side. I'm going to get this adhered down, and then I'll start the other page. Very straightforward, like our sketch, right? They have the 3 photos. The only difference is I do have some extra room over here that's not in the sketch, but that's because I trimmed my photo down. Okay, let me pause for a moment. I'm going to get my borders adhered down and probably these 2 photos, and then I'll come back and we'll get the second page started. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I'm back, and I went ahead and adhered all the photos down and all of the border strips, the top and the bottom, and the mat card. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring in the second page. When I'm planning these pages, I know what photos I'm going to use here, and then I look at the other photos that I have left to see what format they're in. And in this case, I ended with all vertical photos. I try and tend to do something like this when I'm making a corresponding page. So I know I've said this before. Let me move this one down here. But I like to think of this one as my decorative page, and this one's going to follow the sketch, and then this one is going to be more of where my photo dump. And I like to say that respectfully, but it's basically where I'm going to put all the other photos that I want to tell my story. Okay, so in this case, I had all verticals left over, and so I thought it would look perfect over here. And I did trim them a little bit so that they would fit nicely in a row like this. Okay, let me move this one out of the way for a moment. So when I do something like this, I like to have a border over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my decorative trimmer. So I kind of want to bring a little bit of a wave or some motion over on this side of the page, because over here I had the trees and the stars are kind of giving me my wavy look over there. And our inspiration, we had some waves going on. So I thought it would be kind of fun to do that as well. So I'm going to bring in first off the green polka dot paper because I want to bring in the color from up here. I don't need a whole lot, but I'm gonna maybe, let's see, if you measure, you kind of have to measure going this direction. That's going to give me about 1 inch. Let me go a little bit more to like 1.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to do 1.5 inches. I'm going to use the outside wave because I just want a little bit of wave, not as much as this inside one. Okay, so 1.5 inches. Let me line that back up. And I'm going to tuck it under the photos like that. But I also want to bring in some of the red from the other page. So I brought in a second sheet of the red striped. Now, if you really wanted to, you probably can trim off a little bit of this before you adhered everything down, but I didn't want to lose a lot of my stability of that page, so I decided to bring in an additional piece. So I do want my stripes running the same way. So these are running vertical. I'm gonna just need a small piece on this. I did 1.5 inches on the last one, so I'm gonna do just 1 inch on this one. And then we'll have those photos slightly rest on there, and I probably will bring them a little closer together. Okay, so here's what it's gonna look like so far. I am gonna butt these up right next to each other. I think a lot of times I don't do that, but I want to in this case, because what I am gonna do is I do wanna bring in some of the brown to this side over here. I have a little bit of brown in this card, but I want to bring in some more as part of my embellishments. So I'm actually going to gut out a section right behind here. Okay, and I think in this case I don't need to have a lot of spacing between, so I'm just going to butt them together and it'll look like that. Okay, so let me pause again, and I'm going to gut my brown paper, get all this adhered down, and I'll come back and we're going to be ready for embellishing. This one went together really fast. So hold on and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I got this page all adhered down. I've got my waves put in there, and then that's what it's going to look like so far. And here's the chunk of brown that I gutted from the back side. And it definitely needed to be stabilized. Those photos were just hanging loose there. And so I went ahead and did some washi tape, and it gave it really good structure. You could also maybe do this same type of thing with some scrap cardstock. I've seen that before. And or you could have, I could have also put a big block of cardstock on the back. And another thing I could have done is I could have matted these all on a cardstock and taken out a smaller chunk and taken out a chunk as well. But I didn't want to mat. I have none of my photos are matted today. I know that that's very unusual for me, but I like it. I think that these papers are gorgeous, and it's just really making it very easy to make my photos pop. Why did I want to gut so badly? I do want to bring in some brown, and so on this left-hand side. So I'm going to cut off a piece here, and I'm going to go 2.5 inches. And I know for some of you this won't be a surprise, but I'm bringing in my favorite tag punch. So if you remember in the inspiration layout, they had up here, they used a punch that looked like a piece of notebook paper. And I thought that was super cute. But since it's Christmas time and we have a lot of tags at Christmas, I thought I would bring in a tag instead. Okay, it's a little long. I usually keep my tags at about 4 inches. I'm going to go 4.5 because I can always trim it down. Okay. And then we'll slide that right up here. I try to not put that much adhesive over here. That's what I want to do right there. Now, as far as embellishing this, I don't need to put a title necessarily, and like I was saying, I don't need a lot of journaling. It's what I have my handy dandy mat card for. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my embellishing done. So what am I going to use? I'm bringing in the stickers, both the icons and the words and phrases, and all of my embellishments that go with the seasonal sightings collection. What I was thinking of doing is we have these gorgeous snowflakes that I was hoping to use. I think I want to bring in some gold on this. I kind of want to tilt this one, there we go, tilt it so that that corner is hidden. So I want to bring in this gold foiled snowflake and put it right there. And I also think there's a couple stickers here. I wanted to bring in this sticker right here, kind of put it at the top. I think I'm going to try and move my photo down just a little bit because it's kind of, I feel like I need more room at the top. Let's bring this in, and I used regular adhesive on this, but I think that's okay if I just tilt it. There we go. I like that much better. So I'm going to have the snowflake. It'll go partially under the photo, hanging off the tag, and this little ornament will go right slightly under the snowflake and under the photo, and then pop up the top of the tag like that. What I want to do here is there's a star in here that looks very similar. Here it is, very similar to the top of our tree, our star on the top of the tree. And I'm going to bring that in just because it represents that star of our tree. And this, I love this photo because we don't have that star anymore. These photos are from 2016, and since then we've gotten a new tree and a new topper for our tree. So I feel like I'm so happy I took that photo because it means quite a bit. So I'm actually going to tuck that in. It fits really nicely right there, and kind of hang it off going like that. And then I have this word traditions that I'm going to bring in and put it right about there. Let me go ahead and bring up my snowflake a little bit. Bring up the word traditions. There we go. I like it. Okay, and then I'll probably bring in some gold twine right there, some gold. I'm going to pull something from my stash to kind of make that tag have a piece of string hanging. In our sketch, they had a embellishment cluster coming right down here, and they also had something up here. So I'm not sure about up there, but I will put something here, and I want to have my visual triangle, so I would need to incorporate something on the second page. So I am going to put that there, a big one over here, because I have a lot of room. Okay, so let's do this. Let's put a medium one here, and let's do a small one up here. We'll see if we can find something. We'll have a visual triangle on this page, and then we'll have a big visual triangle going across the two pages. Okay, so what do we want to do first? This area was easy because I knew I wanted to bring in that tag. So I have that same paper on the other side. Over here, I know I have these, since it is decorating the tree, I have these big ornament balls from the Advisor exclusive pack. If you have an advisor, you can talk to them about getting that. Getting these, it was for advisors only, but I do believe they are sold out. So your advisor would have to have a few packs on hand, but it had these really nice tags, tag ornaments in it. Okay, and I think that would be awesome right over here. I have a lot of space in the photos that I could maybe cover up if I need to, but something like that, so I still want to see my waves, but there we go, somewhere right in the middle over there. And then I have this bigger snowflake to match the other snowflake, so I probably have it hanging off something like that. And then I feel like I want something hanging down. So there it is, some mistletoe. And again, it has the little bit of gold foiling, absolutely beautiful. And I think I'm going to pop that one up onto some foam tape. I'm going to cover up those hollies and put this mistletoe and bow just hanging off like that. I think that's just perfect. Over here, let's see. I know I want to bring in another tag because we have tags. The ornament is kind of a tag. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and tuck this one down in there. I like it because it has the tree and it's decorated and it has some more gold foiling on it. So that's gorgeous. And again, I'll bring in some gold twine to go on all 3 of the tags. Also down here, I like this one that says our tree. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that up on some foam tape. Let's bring the tray back in again and see. I do like this gold reindeer. I really want to bring in some more gold elements. Okay, and then the reindeer will kind of be jumping right over the trees because we have some reindeer down here, so I think that would be super cute. I think I want to bring in another piece of brown and another piece of the white shimmer paper. Okay. And I'm thinking of making some little banners. Let's go about 1 inch. And I think I had some scraps of this. Let's go ahead and cut a little banner on these. When I cut a banner, I like to do the halfway up and then meet it in the center from each side. Seems to work pretty good for me. If you have a banner punch, then that would be even better. Okay, and so go something like that. And same thing with this one. I'm going to trim this one down just a tad, just so it's not exactly, that one looks like it's about 1 inch. So I want this one to just be a little thinner. And again, I just went up to the center and sliced it. So it's going to look something like that, just coming off. And I think that added a lot to it. And this way I'm bringing in more of the brown and some more of the white. So I have the white shimmer paper down here and some white over here and in the other clusters. So I think that, I like that. I think that added a nice little touch. Maybe we could bring in some of those stars from the punch out and just decorate it with some stars. Okay, there are some half stars here, so you have to be careful. And then wherever they fall, I will just move them around, and then one more. There we go. And then I could just put a little bit of wet glue under each one. Let's see what it looks like on the red. Oh, you can't really see it. Okay, so I'm going to get all of this adhered down, and I'll get the gold string on my tags, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and this is my finished layout, and it's such an easy sketch. It was a strip of paper at the top, a border of your choice at the bottom, and then 3 or 4, you can even put a 4th photo here if you wanted to. 3 to 4 photos on that page, and then any other photos you have, just dump them onto a second page. Here's what I ended up doing. So when I pulled out the gold thread, and it's actually this, I couldn't think of what it was when I was filming the first segment, but this is all it is. It's just some thread. I went with this. My other option was some twine with some gold in it. I just thought this was way too heavy for the type of layout that I was doing. I already had a lot on here. So I went with this thread, and I'm pretty sure I bought this at Joann's. It's really the only place I would buy thread. And then what I did was I just took a chunk and I wrapped it around my fingers like this, and kind of just kept wrapping and wrapping and wrapping. And then when it was done, I pinched it into a somewhat of a bow, and I stuck some glue down in the middle and just pushed the bow into it and letting it dry. You could see the glue is still a little bit wet. And I decided to do that for each of the tags, and I think it's really whimsical. It adds a little bit of movement to the page because it's kind of lifted up and airy. And yeah, it'll flatten a little bit in my page protector, but I'm not worried about that at all. And then up here, I actually found this love, peace, and joy right off the sticker sheet. So I thought, oh, that's going to fit perfect. So I put it here, and then I moved out some of the stars so I wouldn't have as many, but I still liked the stars there. So I put the stars here, and then I went back and added some stars as my finishing touches and put one or two in each cluster. So I put one here, 2 over here, and then 3 over on that side. So I like that. That's going to be my finishing touches. I'm not going to come back in with any gems or anything. Having the 4th cluster here, I feel like my layout is really busy, so I don't want to add anything else. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you are enjoying this 12 Days of Christmas series. If you are, I'd really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. That really lets me know that you're enjoying this type of series, and it also helps YouTube to spread my content further. Thank you, everybody, and until next time, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.